Good morning. My name is June Bak. I'm delighted to introduce my thesis. The title is Teaching Literature and Popular Culture using Multimedia. Let me tell you the table of contents. I've divided my talk into 6 parts. First, introduction. Second, preceding researches. Third, research method. First, results and discussions. Fifth, conclusion. Finally, references. Let me give an introduction. Multimedia is a term first used by Steve Jobs in the early 1980s, and it is a medium that can convey various types of information. This multimedia means text, sound, picture, and video, and the advent of computers and the improvement of computers are becoming important factors enabling multimedia. This paper proposes a method to effectively teach literature and popular culture as liberal arts using literature, text, and multimedia, and analyzes the students' responses and learning effects by surveying questionnaires. The scope of literature guidance is world literature, including Korean literature, British literature, and American literature, and French literature. Let's move on to preceding researches. First, the definition of multimedia. Multimedia integrates various media such as text, sound, graphics, still images, and moving images into one object. It refers to an integrated system that processes, stores, transmits, distributes, and enables interaction with humans and all related technologies. Next, I will explain the features of multimedia. First, multimedia is a comprehensive medium and includes various information. Delivery media such as computer, wired or wireless, broadcasting, internet, and satellite communication. Second, it is interactive. Third, it has an intimate nature with humans. Finally, I'd like to introduce Mayer's insist. Mayer explains the definition of multimedia learning as learning from the learning contents expressed in text and pictures. And Mayer's argument that multimedia learning is effective is based on assumption that people can better understand what is explained when text and pictures are presented together rather than text-only content. I make the same assumptions as Mayer and assumes that it is more effective for students to learn through a variety of multimedia than can utilize visual and auditory rather than text-only literature. Let's move on to the next part. First, Hyunjin Bak and Nicola Praskini produced multimedia materials using the work of Eun Hee-kyung, the house I lived in the study of Korean literature class using multimedia, and analyzed the learner's reaction. Second, Kang Hyun-dong conducted a class using the original movie Killing Heart when teaching the lessons, the Lives of Race scene in the study of teaching methods in English and American literature using digital media technology. 86.4% of the respondents showed that they were satisfied with the teaching method. Third, Kim Yeon-jung, a study on the teaching method of literature class using e-learning in the era of the first industrial revolution, focusing on Franz Kafka's sentencing. With the advance notice, the presenters made a representation based on keywords suggested by the professor, and the students used the method of preparing the discussion content in advance. First, visual literacy. It is the perception of how we experience images, videos, and other forms of multimedia. Finally, Hall argued that language, literature, and culture have an interactive relationship, and that literature can be an important medium for cultural education. This means that learners can acquire a language by encountering literary works, understand the culture, and have the ability to comprehend and analyze literary works. Let's move on to the next part. I will explain research method. First, subject of study. 90 students who are taking literature and popular culture. Second, experimental class. First, the contents of the questionnaire. There are about the students' background knowledge of literature, the content they want to learn in the course, and the students' tendencies and concerns. The class method is first, using multimedia. Second, it is to use discussion method, applying the reading guidance plan. Let's move on to result and discussion. I will explain the class procedure. The class procedure is divided into 3 stages. Unit, English poetry. Target grade, from 1st to 4th year, 90 university students. In introduction stage, first, ask the students what they associate with the word poetry. Second, ask what the title of Whitman's poem is. Next, in development stage, first, watch the movie Dead Poets Society. Second, the first group presenter will make a presentation in PPT. Plot, theme, characters, poems in movies, messages in movies, famous scenes in movies, etc. Third, the researcher explains poems to the virgins to make much of time by Robert Herrick. The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. She Walks in Beauty by Byron. Oh Me, Oh Life by Whitman. Oh Captain, My Captain by Whitman, and other poems are explained. In this case, a video of poetry reading on YouTube is used. In particular, Whitman's poem Oh Me, Oh Life is based on a class written by Robin Williams, who plays teacher Keating in Dead Poets Society. And Oh Captain, My Captain use scenes from Dead Poets Society and readings from Doug Barton. Let's move on to the next part. Let me give you one example. It is a poem by Walter Whitman. I use it as text and then I use YouTube. The site is as follows. I will show you this video.
don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we are members of the human race, and the human race is filled with passion. Medicine, law, business, engineering, these are noble pursuits and necessary to sustain life. But poetry, beauty, romance, love, these are what we stay alive for. To quote from Whitman, "O me, O life of the questions of these recurring, of the endless trains of the faithless, of cities filled with the foolish, what good amid these, O me, O life?" Answer, that you are here, that life exists and identity, that the powerful play goes on and you may contribute a verse. That the powerful play goes on and you may contribute a verse. What will your verse be?
In development case, first, 5 students form a group and discuss. Discussion topics include problems with education in Korea and ways to prevent near deaths. Team members elect a reader, and the reader writes down the content of the discussion and presents it. The discussion method is based on the reading guide. The researcher proceeds in the stage of open your thoughts, share your thoughts, expand your thoughts, and organize your thoughts. Ask the students the appropriate questions for each step. Hips, summarize what has been discussed. Let's see the last stage. In closing, first, ask questions about the students' reactions to poetry through movies. Second, summarize what you have learned. Third, announce the next class. As I explained the class procedure, the most important characteristic of this class procedure is the use of movies and YouTube, so that literature, the source of popular culture content, does not become boring. Gi-Sung Lee also presented a genre-integrated method, in other words, a class that linked Lee Mun-yeol's literary work, Our Twist Hero, and theme. In addition, the students created an opportunity to find problems and solutions that occur in modern society through discussion. The discussion method used at this time was to find a way to solve problems by presenting questions based on the PBR and reading guidance. The detailed discussion method is as follows. First is problem-based learning. PBR has already been started with Kirkpatrick in 1918 and has been continuously used in various educational fields. This method presents a practical problem to the learners, and in order to solve the presented problem, the learners jointly develop a problem-solving method. It is a learning method in which learning takes place in a series of processes in which a common solution is prepared through individual learning and cooperative learning. With respect to this method, Walton and Matthews defined PBR as a learning method that enables students to cope with similar situations in the future by discovering problems through the presented situation and learning the necessary knowledge, skills, or attitudes through solving them. Among the education goals of this method, the cultivation of effective and efficient problem-solving ability is similar to the goal of reading guidance plan. First, classes using multimedia. Literature can be said to be the source of popular culture, and the method of using movies belonging to the category of popular culture and using it in class plays a role in improving the learning effect. This method mainly uses a home video tape recorder, VHS or DVD. However, it is more convenient to use multimedia using the internet for movies and poetry reading videos that are not readily available. Next, we'll give specific examples of the researchers' use of multimedia in the classroom. First, the main content of the second week class is the definition and possibility of literature and popular culture, and the relationship between literature and popular culture. For example, some scenes from the movie My Sassy Girl were used. As another example, when describing a poem that became a song, I searched for it on YouTube and used it. Specifically, a video of Runway sang Kim Sewell's poem, I Lived Without Knowing the Word, was used. And to teach popular music, which is one of the mainstream of popular culture, BTS Poetry for Small Things YouTube video was used. Let's listen to BTS song. I'm going to use my smartphone. you enjoy the music? By the way, I will explain learner-centered classes. For this study, a learner-centered class was conducted by examining a class questionnaire consisting of 6 items in the first class and analyzing the results. The detailed contents of the questionnaire are as follows. First, write the title of Korean or world literary work that you know and the name of the author. Second, it is about what you want to learn in this course and what you want the professor to do. Third, it is about self-introduction. Fourth, it concerns what you are currently worried about. Fifth, it concerns the desired career direction after graduation. Sixth, it concerns what you think you did best during winter break and what you regret. Among these items, the first item aims to determine the level of background knowledge of students, and the second item reflects the learning content students want to learn when conducting a class. The rest of the items were designed to comprehend students' personal dispositions and concerns, and to prepare discussion questions to be used in the discussion section. Let's move on to the next part. I will explain only 2 of the survey results in presentation. As shown in table, the areas that helped them were literature and popular culture knowledge at 54%, improvement of thinking skills through discussion and discussion 25.8%, and emotional cultivation and moral values in order. Others referred to it as writing ability. According to this result, the area that helped me the most was literature and popular culture knowledge, which is consistent with the learning goal. And the improvement of thinking ability in the next domain in the result of using discussion method applying the PBR and reading guidance plan. In addition, emotional cultivation and moral values can be said to be learning effects that can be obtained through liberal arts subjects. I will explain the table. As shown in table, the degree of interest in multimedia use was analyzed using the Likert 5 scale, and the degree that drew the most attention was 41.2% for 5, 37.6% for 4, 15% for 3, 2% for 2, and 1 for 1%. As can be seen from these results, Likert scales 4 and 5 exceed 78% and average exceed 17%. These results are considered to reflect the students' preference for multimedia lessons. In particular, in the second week class, we dealt with movies and dramas based on novels, teaching students of the same age. My name is Samsun Kim and Coffee Prince. These dramas were connected with broadcasting culture. Kang Jun-man described the development of Korean popular culture as the explosion of popular novels, radio, movies, and TV, and the mass of media of the 1980s. In this way, literature appeared in various forms due to the mass media and became the source of the development of popular culture. As mentioned earlier, in the third week class dealing with Hallyu, PPT and YouTube were used the most. After explaining the concept and development process of Hallyu with PPT and using YouTube for some scenes and OSTs from the drama, students' interest in multimedia usage increased, and positive responses were confirmed that it was fun. In the course of other classes, multimedia continued to be used, and responses to increase the interest in literature were identified. Let's move on to the next part. Finally, let me conclude. This paper presents a method to teach literature and popular culture subjects using multimedia, breaking away from the existing educational method of reading literary text in the digital age of the 21st century. Specifically, I suggested to an example of an actual class using multimedia and the class procedure. This course procedure was written by reflecting the results of the survey in the first class for students taking the S University Literature and Popular Culture course. This can be said to be learner-centered education that focuses on interacting with the learners. I hope that literature and popular culture teaching methods will be further studied as liberal arts lectures in the future. See the references. I omitted them because there are so many references. I'll finish my representation. Thanks for listening to my representation. Thank you.